to you by Barfoot and Thompson.
On the show today, we're chatting with the fabulous team from Attitude about the making of their new series, Forgo Flatting. Welcome to Property Matters. Welcome along to another Monday. Thanks for tuning in. If you're driving home in Auckland today, it's got a little bit miserable, but for those listening around the country, hopefully it's nicer in your part of the world. Now, tonight, a very different episode of Property Matters. We're joined by Rachel and Justin from Attitude, makers of the fantastic and award-winning disability-focused TV shows, and they are joined by two stars of their latest show, Mitch and Connor. Welcome to the show, team. It's great to have you all here.
Hi.
Hi, kia ora.
Now, Rachel, before we unpack the show, tell our listeners a little bit about who you are and what your role is at Attitude.
I'm a television producer of a few decades, and I am currently working at Attitude. I've just finished producing Down for Love Series 2, and I'm in the process of making Forgo Flatting.
Brilliant. When was Attitude first created? Tell us a little bit about Attitude itself.
It was created by a friend of mine, Robin Scott Vincent, who started Attitude about 19 years ago, something like that. And she had a son called Harrison who had a disability, and she was very keen on making an impact in the world for people with disabilities. So she kind of has spent a great deal of the last 18 years focusing very much on making television programming to give representation to people with disabilities.
Now, you've been there quite a journey. So tell us about some of the shows and programs that you've worked on before.
Oh, well, I've come from a variety of different production companies. I started my career making documentaries, many documentaries, and then moved into making television drama and became a television commissioner at TV3 for about 5 years. And then I went to South Pacific Pictures, you know, the makers of Shortland Street and Outrageous Fortune, those kind of things. And I was the head of development for them, and then became a producer for them as well. And I've been extricating myself to come back out and make things for myself. So I happen to be making things for Robin at the moment.
No. What does the role of a producer encompass?
You are the person who is responsible for both the creative direction of a television program series and for managing the entire process. So you're the boss, in my case, the boss lady.
The boss lady. Excellent. Now tell us about Forgo Flatting. So this is something new for Attitude?
This is a new series for Attitude, a new series for New Zealand. There have been many series made over the years, which back in the day we used to call them docu-soaps, where you would follow 4 people or 6 people through an experience and follow the ups and downs and ins and outs and hopefully learn something about the process for those people. This series is that, and we have 4 people, Connor and Mitch, who are here with us, and Henry and Jesse. Each of these guys have got a different disability and different experiences, different life experiences, but they have all been living at home, and they all wanted to try flatting and would like to see flatting in their future. And so this was a possibility for us to set up a flat and give them the experience of flatting and learn some lessons about what it's like to be flatting, and pitfalls, the goods, the bads, quite frankly, the ugly and the dirty. We've had a ball making it.
What made you choose this concept?
The concept had come from Attitude in the first place. So right. I think it's just out of the team of people at Attitude who have all, have worked with lots of people with disabilities. And there's a point where, you're a young person, you really want an independent life. And also parents are very aware that as they get older, they really want their kids to be independent. What happens to everybody when parents are no longer able to look after them. So it's kind of a very real issue in New Zealand, and it's talked about by a lot of people, and parents and young people alike. And it's a problem that we need to, as a society, help change so that these guys can live independent lives.
So hopefully this show raises some awareness in that space.
Yeah. some awareness, some understanding, hopefully inspires some people, like maybe my own children. It's I think it's good for everybody.
Brilliant. Well, let's meet two of the four flatmates, Mitch and Connor. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi.
Mitch, I'm going to kick it off with you. Did you know the other flatmates before you went into the house?
No, I didn't.
So what was it like meeting them for the first time?
Very nervous and bit shy, but I got there in the end.
You got there in the end. How quickly did you get to know them?
Very quickly when the week came along, just knew them all week and started getting along and be mates again.
I guess if you're putting four people in a house together, you're pretty fast going to get to know each other.
Yes.
Connor, what was it like to go flatting?
It was a great experience. I did learned a lot of skills which I, in air quote, didn't know how to do, but I actually did. I just thought I couldn't do, but actually I could do more than I gave myself credit for.
Brilliant. And what was the biggest surprise? And I'll ask you both this, but Connor first, what was the biggest surprise throughout the whole experience? What was the thing you went, wow, I didn't expect that to happen, or...
I didn't expect the jar to be smashed at my 10.
Okay, that sounds like a very specific incident.
I found it funny.
You found it funny?
Yeah.
All right, what about in the house? Was there anything around the whole flatting experience that surprised you?
Let me go together. Social skills.
Yeah?
Like when to say something and when not to say something, and when to... It's okay to say something, but at the same time, know what to say without being rude.
Connor, maybe just talk about what your disability is, and so therefore how that relates.
I have autism, ADHD, and tic disorder, which with ADHD, it's very, very, very difficult to maintain focus. If it's something that's not interesting to me personally, I'll just be go in one ear and out the other, and I can get sidetracked easily. With autism, it comes under the social skills, like when to say something, and when I say something, it's actually considered. When I say something, it's actually considered rude.
Right.
But I won't actually know it because I'll just say it like it is, and then because sometimes I'm black and white. As an autistic trait, so I learned not when to say stuff and not to.
Did you find then in this flatting experience you improved some of those social skills, or had to think a little bit harder in this space?
Yeah, I think I did improve, but at the same time, when I was at the flat, I also had to think extremely hard, put all my focus on when I should say something.
Okay, thank you for being so honest. Mitch, what was your sort of most surprising moment? That moment that you went, oh, wow.
All the washing.
All the washing. Yeah, 4 young men in the place together.
Yep.
Okay, who took charge of the washing?
I don't want to say.
It's fine.
Me and Connor.
You and Connor?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have specific rosters or routines of who did different jobs and chores?
Yes, we did. One did the vacuuming, one did the mop the floor in the kitchen, was because it looked dirty and we didn't want to swab over and hurt ourselves.
Great.
When it came to chores, the first week, obviously the first week's chaotic. As you know, moving into a flat can be chaotic. So the first week we didn't really have a roster until we wrote it on the whiteboard, because then we knew who was on what. But the first week, as you know, moving into a flat can be chaotic.
So you had to all learn together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mitch, you liked the outdoors, didn't you?
Yes,
so you're someone that did you get out in the gardens and do the lawns? Although it is Auckland weather.
A little bit, but not as much as I wanted to.
Okay, that's cool. What about the cooking? Who did the cooking? Or did you share this?
We shared the cooking each night. Me and the guy shared the cooking.
Awesome. Was someone a better cook than others? I wish our radio listeners could see their faces right now. There's some guilty looks at each other.
Yeah.
I'll chip in. When it came to cooking, I did the most healthy recipes, which I know how to do based off memory. So I did bolognese, classic, my favourite, a vegetarian lasagna with kumara. And I did nachos with Jessie. And a bunch of other stuff such as baking, which I made a mistake. I was trying to do an apple cinnamon loaf, and I didn't add cinnamon, I added cumin.
Ooh.
Yeah, big mistake. But then I know how to follow the recipe now, so...
Brilliant.
There were some issues though, weren't there, with who wanted to eat what? What did Henry like to eat?
Is it okay to say? Henry loved, and I quote loved, big emphasis on the love, chicken tenders and chips.
Chicken tenders and chips.
Yeah,
All
every
right.
day, most likely sometimes.
Difficult meal to master. Excellent. Mitch, did you have a favourite meal in the house?
I think it was butter chicken and ambrosia was my favourite.
Nice.
That was actually really nice.
And now that the show has wrapped and you're back home, are you cooking these things at home?
No, I haven't.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
I am.
Good.
Obviously, when I want to do a meal, like tonight, I'll help cook, but after that I won't eat it until morning because I'm tired. But I will cook pat bolognese because I love it. But yeah, I love to cook. But so Mum said she was going to sort out like a monthly thing where I do breast cooking once every 3 weeks a month.
Brilliant.
Do 1 week cooking, then Mum does another week.
Excellent. And look, you're not alone. When my 20-year-old went to go flatting for her first moment, the first thing I said to her is, what can you cook? All I've ever seen you do is cheese on toast. So we got recipes in for the week and we said, before you can leave, you've got to cook every night. And you have your disasters, but that's how you learn. But I'm not sure I'm a fan of your cumin muffins. That
Yeah,
would be a
bad.
test. Now, Mitch, you mentioned the washing. What about cleaning? Did you all take turns of cleaning the place up?
Yes, I did. I did the bathroom and the toilet.
Excellent. What's that? Has that carried on at home? I bet your family would love it if it
I
had.
did a little bit last week, but it didn't work out how I wanted to be.
Nice. Now, Connor, what would be some advice that you would give anybody who's thinking of going flatting for the first time? If they're getting ready, what would be your number one tips?
My top three tips would be, number one would be, when you're choosing a flat, to have close things by, like transport, everything that were easy to get to.
Good advice.
Because some people with autism or epilepsy, such as myself, can never drive, so that's ideal. Choosing the right flatmates that you can connect to on emotion, on personality level, so you get along with easily, like Jessie. And third tip is taking turns and setting a roster, because otherwise it all turns to custard.
Great advice. Great advice for anyone going flatting. Love the comment about public transport.
Yeah.
We don't often think about that when we're flatting because Auckland's so vast. Mitch, what about you? Connor just mentioned choosing the right flatmate. If you were screening people for your future flat, what sort of qualities would you look for in someone to be a really good flatmate with you?
Find somebody I know
Yep.
and then tell them I want to go flatting with you, or hey, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Nice. Going with someone that you've got that safety of knowing them first, rather than a total stranger.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good advice. Got to look after your friendships though in it as well, though, eh?
Yes, you do.
How did you guys sort, like, if arguments happened or anything? Were you good at keeping that friendship strong?
Sometimes, but we denied a few things, but we got down that road and went up the different road and fixed the road how we fixed it.
Nice. Now the show's finished, would you look at flatting again in the future?
Yes.
Yeah?
I would do flatting with me, Jessie, Harry and Mitch.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. What about you, Mitch? You'd still look at flatting one day?
Yeah, somewhere local, but not too far.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Was there a favourite memory from when you were in the house? A day that just stood out for you? Or was it the moving in day?
My favourite activity in the flat, in the flat was cooking, because it's calming, and cleaning's calming.
Nice. Cool. Cooking and cleaning, calming. What about you, Mitch? Was there a favourite memory?
I'm not breaking things.
No. Good to hear. Was it tough to pack up at the end and sort of know that that journey had suddenly come to an end?
Yeah, very sad, but we got there in the end.
Yeah. Nice. Good on you. Now, what was it like having the TV cameras recording so much of what you were doing in your day? Did you eventually just forget they were there?
Yeah, but the first few weeks, you know, like you had to always be like on call, like this. Where are they watching me? Yeah, but after a few weeks it improved. So sometimes we got used to it.
Did you get home, Mitch, and still look for them around your house? Were you like, are they still there? Are they in my wall?
I didn't see anything.
Yes, I did.
I'm behind the scenes.
Yes, I did.
Nice. So what does a typical day look like for you guys now? Now the show's finished, kind of what do you get up to during your day?
I get up to... I did some cafe work today, but I get up to like cooking, helping Mum out with the laundry. Like if I'm bored and I'm sitting just bored, I'll just go and I'm like, Mum, what do you want me to do? She gives me a bunch of stuff to keep me occupied. And then other days I go to Kaleidocare.
Nice. What's that?
Kaleidocare is a day program for young adults with intellectual and physical disabilities. And they get people to go and to choose where they want to go. Like stuff we do. Examples is bowling, a cafe, gardening, food, outing, and dance, but I don't do dance.
Brilliant. Sounds like a great organisation, and I hope my daughters are listening. Connor asks if there's anything you can do, like folding the washing.
Connor, why don't you explain when you said you worked at a cafe today, what were you actually doing at a cafe today?
What I was doing was at the cafe, like kitchen skills, making coffee, cleaning the dishes, putting them away, and hopefully I'm going to look at doing, when I go again, to learn how to do knife skills and not hack stuff.
It's a place called Te Puhi who does helps train people with disabilities so that they can actually get employment.
It's
and
in
Connor's got a
Pakuranga.
job coming.
Nice. Nice. So the job's in a kitchen or in a cafe?
It's in a cafe. There's also an art gallery there.
Cool. It sounds like a great space. Mitch, what about you? What does your typical day look like now the show's finished?
Just hang out at home on Tuesdays because I have nothing to do. Or I just go to the museum and look at all cool things at the museum.
A museum is a great space to go to. Yeah, absolutely. What about job-wise? Are you looking for something in the future?
No, I've got a couple of jobs already.
Okay, what do you do?
I do van cleaning for Recreate.
Yep.
And a few day programs and that's in Moxie and that's it.
Nice.
Yep.
Good to have some variety.
Yes.
Good to have some variety. Justin, if I bring you in now, you were director of the show.
Yes.
So what was it like having this experience, following these guys for several weeks?
Oh, listen, it was such a privilege to see the blokes develop. Very rarely do we get to do 7 weeks of straight filming with 4 very unique individuals. So it was really fascinating. I was talking to Rachel today in the car and I said, it was really fascinating to see the guys develop and learn all these skills and deal with all the things that actually all of us deal with when we go flatting for the first time, because there's very little that's different. A lot of the issues the guys were facing were issues that all of us face, regardless of whether we live with a disability or not.
Yeah, they just happen to have a TV crew following them around.
Yes, which is a very comfortable experience. I can guarantee you that. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your own experience in television. What led up to this journey to be director?
Yeah, so I have been in the industry for 10 years now. Predominantly directing. I started in children's television, which makes me very good at wrangling people. And I've actually done animal wrangling as well, so very similar to this job. And then I have done a bit of commercial work. And then 4 years ago, I started with Attitude. So I've been doing a lot of Attitudes content alongside a few other Te Ao Māori projects as well.
Brilliant. What was your personal highlight? We asked the boys. What was your personal highlight over the journey?
I think my highlight was seeing the guys grow and develop new skills. It's sort of, you get to the end of the day and they're long days for the guys, but seeing them, overcome an issue or learn a new recipe that doesn't involve cumin instead of cinnamon, or whether it's, seeing Mitch go out and conquer the bus and get to work for the first time, that stuff was really special because we get to experience that
So
with them.
it was far more than just what happens in the house. It was their day journey and their life challenges in that day.
Yeah. We wanted to portray the fullness of their lives and how they interact with community, but also give back to community. So it could be anything from Mitch heading off to work, or Connor going to explore K Road for the first time. It's important to show these guys out and about because they do live full lives, and quite often we don't see that. So it was really important to showcase that for us.
Nice. Did you try their cooking?
Yes, actually, I to make sure everything was edible, I made sure everything was edible.
Oh, really?
So every bit of chicken I made sure I ate before the guys ate. We had a big flat party, and I tried the burgers that night. And there was it was a very collaborative process. I sort of became the fifth flatmate.
Right.
I think the lads will agree with that. So often we'd have to put the cameras down and make sure things didn't catch on fire and other things. But it was fun though, because it's a lot of the skills that I can sort of pass on to the guys, and hopefully they've maintained those skills. We'll wait and see. But yeah, just seeing the guys grow and develop, I think was just really special.
What was one of the biggest challenges? I'm guessing Auckland weather might have been one of it, but what was one of the biggest challenges when you're filming something like this?
The challenges. Dealing with them. No, I'm joking. No, the challenges were the weather, and I think also just we've got four very different individuals with four very different backgrounds and four very different ways of dealing with things. So just making sure that you accommodate for all those things, and making sure that the guys are all safe and happy and fed. I think as well, making sure that they were all healthy. The amount of fast foods that were consumed was the chicken tenders and chips became a frequent dish. So you're just trying to bestow some healthy advice on healthy food to the lads was very important to me.
5 plus a day, was it, Connor?
Yeah.
Excellent. Justin's role.
Don't want to get scurvy.
Were you pleased with how well they coexisted together?
Yes, yeah. There was a few times where we had a few heated moments, but in saying that happens in any flat, in any workplace, in any situation where you have four very different people with four very different views. What I was really impressed with was how the guys handled things and overcame things with a real sense of maturity that I think a lot of people wouldn't expect. And yeah, I was just really proud of how they handled conflict, because it's a tricky thing and it's not nice. So, but they did such a fantastic job. Yeah.
How many hours of footage each day did you record?
Too much. No.
Too much.
we to show the fullness of their lives. We'd television is normally a 10-hour plus day, so we filmed for the majority of that. So it was anything from breakfast, lunch, dinner, cleaning, washing, outings, anything, and. There's a few times we took the guys out in the evening to go explore nightlife. There was a few times we followed them to the bus way too early in the morning, Mitch? But it was all part of showing the fullness of the guys' lives and what they get up to. Yeah.
So now, I imagine a mammoth editing job to take all of that footage and create the episodes.
Yeah, it's going to take a hot minute.
February.
Watch this space. It will be definitely out next year.
Coming soon to a theatre near you.
Yes, yeah. No, it's going to be a lot of work, but we're very lucky to work with the amazing Peter Roberts, who is a very experienced editor. So Rachel and myself are just we're sitting through the footage at the moment, which is my favourite thing to do, because I get to relive all the trauma and all the experience. And Rachel and I, we had a big sit down with our editor Peter last week, and we watched just a really rough assemble of the first few days, and I was just surprised at how some of the characters came out, how some of the guys came out, and how green they were when they first started.
I think that's a really important thing that these guys are going to see for themselves. On day one, there was just not very much knowledge. By the end of week 6, just different people in terms of what they could do and how their skills. And so when Connor says he learnt skills, boy, everybody learnt skills.
Practical and life skills and social skills.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Every skill.
Yes. even how to eat healthy vegetables, which was a surprise for everyone. But no, it's a mammoth task ahead of us. But like I said, being able to sit down every single day and watch back all the footage is a real privilege.
Rachel, when you're watching it being recorded, are you busy kind of storyboarding of that might work in the first, or how does it work?
We talk a lot all of the time, so this has been a real collaboration between Justin and I the whole way through about what's going on every day, what we want to get out of something, what actually happens, because you can go into things thinking this might happen and then it doesn't, something completely different happens, where we kind of change tack halfway through. We've created events that the guys, or we asked the guys before they came into the flat, things that they wanted to do, things they wanted to achieve, personal development things they wanted, and we tried to make as much of that happen. And so, of course, in that there's journeys, and we had preconceived ideas, but we need to always make sure that we have been able to visually tell that. So that's the kind of key thing for us. And we had a consistent crew all the way through it, and they all had voices in it too about what we were doing and how we were going to do it.
And I was just going to talk about your crew, because I was lucky enough to stop by the house a few times, and I met many of your team, and they all had a real passion for what they were doing. You could see their heart was 100% into the project and they wanted it to succeed. Is that sort of the key ethos, I guess, sitting with Attitude?
Absolutely, and it's definitely the attitude thing. It's about having good people, and people who have a real interest in what the work is. And for us, just as we chose carefully 4 guys who would be able to flat together, we chose a crew that could also flat with them, because we were going to be in the flat for so many hours of every day. We needed to make sure that we had really lovely human beings that these guys would like.
And it's nice to see some heartwarming TV as well. I mean, there's quite a mix on at the moment.
This will be heartwarming. It will have conflict. It will have comedy. It's got a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
If either of you did the show again, would you do anything different?
I think we're really keen to do the show again and try it with 4 lovely ladies.
Yes, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I think it would probably be a lot more observational, a lot more cleaner perhaps, a lot more salads perhaps, who knows? But you can never know. I thought we were going to get all of that and we didn't. So no, I think we'd love to do the experience again and give for young women with intellectual disabilities the opportunity to come in and try flatting, and then hopefully someday do a little bit of a mixed flat and see what happens there. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Like 2 girls and 2 guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You'd be signing back up, Connor?
Yeah.
Rachel, how did the parents cope with this experience? Because that must be hard for them to actually let go, trust them into a TV setting.
Yeah, it is, and full respect to all the parents who actually said yes to this, and but they all want to see their sons go out into the world and live independent lives, so it's really important for them. I do think there was some trepidation. I do think that parents didn't think their kids could do some things. We literally talked with Connor's mum about that this morning, about the fact that she'd kind of hadn't expected him to be able to do as many things as he could do, because he didn't tend to do that many of them at home before the filming, and so now
that's the same with so many, isn't it? I mean, our kids leave home and they're always the best selves that they can be. He
put so much into practice, and actually Sue, Mitch's mum, was very similar. It was kind of, he can do some things, absolutely, really well. Other things, I don't know. And, Mitch achieved a huge amount. They all did, basically. And so I think that's, that is that thing of parents. You've got to let go. And once you leave them to it, they usually survive. And I'd say we didn't kill any.
Yeah. There'll be some proud parents at the end of this journey.
It definitely was, and we were very lucky to, alongside choosing 4 amazing guys to come into this flat, we were lucky to have 4 amazing families that supported the guys.
My mum thought I couldn't do much.
But you've proved her wrong?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think you tricked her into thinking you couldn't do much, Connor.
Yeah. But what you've created now is you can go home and keep doing it.
Yeah.
You don't need to stop after the show.
Yeah, I haven't stopped. Just need a roster, which we're setting up.
Excellent. Now, Rachel, I'm going to ask you the same question as everyone else. Personal highlight through the experience?
Oh, that's so tricky. There were so many moments. I think one would probably be the first flat dinner when they each invited a friend over, and the boys all cooked dinner. Doing different. That's where Ambrosia made the table for the end.
Nice.
Thank you, Mitch. That was very cool because that was just seeing 4 guys getting their 4 friends and having a really good time. And I think also the very end flat party when they invited their friends and family over, and that was chaos.
Yeah.
Crazy evening, but that was also just, they were so in control, and I think that was really lovely to watch the parents all going, wow, that this has happened. It was a really great experience for us to kind of observe.
You've created lots of special memories.
Added apple
Yes.
in the mint.
Apple in the mint. Excellent. Okay. So what's next? We've got the editing. When do we expect to see this on screen? When can we find this?
This will be on TVNZ sometime, I would imagine, early to mid next year, until I've got a final, delivery end in sight. I'm not sure that anyone's going to set a date.
Yep.
But yeah, TVNZ has been really fantastic supporting this, supporting Attitude, supporting Down for Love. They've been amazing in terms of that kind of supporting this work.
Brilliant. Well, we'll be able to update our listeners closer to the time. What's next for you guys? Once the editing's finished and you've done your job on this, are you already set on another TV show that you're working on?
We've got one that we're waiting to hear about that we're really keen
Fingers
on.
and toes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can't
Yeah.
tell you
No,
what it
that's
is
all
yet,
good.
but when we do, we'll let you know.
So how does it work for our listeners to understand? You have an idea and a concept, you then pitch that to a television network.
You do. You have to have a platform attached, and then you can apply to New Zealand On Air, and we're currently waiting on a funding decision on that, and it's a documentary on something that's very close to both our hearts.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not flattering.
Not flatting, but still in the neurodiverse area.
Yeah.
Now
Fabulous.
spicy.
So Connor and Mitch, are you ready for the fame and glory when it comes on our screens next year? Do you
Yes.
think? Because you will have sort of packed it up and moved on, and suddenly people are going to be watching it and talking about it.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll cope okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You won't let it get to your head?
No.
What are you going to say to people, Mitch, when they come up to you in the supermarket?
Can I have your autograph?
I'm going to say good job of that.
So is that a yes or no for autograph?
Probably yes.
You'll have to practice your signing skills.
Yeah.
Connor, if you could be on any other TV show, is there another sort of style of TV that you like? Are we going to one day see you on a soap opera?
I would like to be on a comedy.
Yeah. Cool, I could see that
Like
happening.
a comedy called Into the Mind of Connor John.
Or we could do Into the Kitchen of Connor
Yeah.
John and have a comedy in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Connor's Neurospicy Kitchen.
Yeah. The new spicy kitchen. Budgeting at its finest.
Brilliant. Rachel, do you think part of this process was putting 4 people together that had similar disabilities and challenges? Going out in the space in the future, do you think that's a real key, is actually having them coexist together because they are more appreciative of each other in that space, or does it work in all settings?
I honestly, these guys could have moved into a flat with anybody, actually. It's just that because they were all people who were living at home, had intellectual disability of some sort, and they all have had some experience of being in a working or training position. So we were looking for people who were already wanting some independence. And because of that, they had a very shared experience. And I think that's really important.
What advice would you give to parents listening going, should I make this challenge or leap with my own child?
Find some other families who have got people who want to also, take the leap, because it does take, these guys had the experience with an entire film crew behind them and helping arrange things and making it fun. You need a team to support. But it is in finding commonalities beforehand.
There's a lot of agencies that can support families with, adults living with disabilities into sort of getting out and being independent. So looking for those agencies and those support groups, that's, really helpful and handy. Yeah, and they do exist. Yeah.
And you set this up quite authentically in the sense that they had to appreciate what it was like to rent a house and have inspections and all of that. Was that to prep them for the real world, if you like?
Yeah, we wanted these guys to have the same experience that anybody would have going into a flat, and in the same way they would go to the supermarket and first supermarket shop, not that much of an idea. Last supermarket shop, really onto it. And that's just what, by having an authentic experience, they learnt through the process, which is really important.
Justin, if you could give the 4 flatmates advice individually for next time they go flatting, what would it be? Because you were watching them all the time and they're about to venture off on their next experience, what would the advice be?
Eat your vegetables. No, it definitely would be, actually eat your vegetables, but also just carry on with the skills that you guys have learned. Practice makes perfect. I mean, Mitchie learned how to tie his shoelaces, something that his mum thought was absolutely impossible, but he figured it out, and he had help from his flatmates in that process. But the key, I think, what I've learned from flatting, and I think what these guys learned is it's practice. It's not just doing it once, it's doing it many times, and having that sort of drive to succeed, which they all have in spades.
Nice. Connor, would you do anything different if you flatted again yourself?
Not be controlling.
But it's good that you know that. Yeah. It's enabling to switch that off, I guess.
And be compromising.
Yeah, good flatmates. Well, any good relationship, you've got to compromise. So flatting's like one giant relationship because you're living with these people. Yeah. What about you, Mitch? Anything you would do different?
Still the same, hasn't changed a single bit.
So, sorry, say that again?
It hasn't changed a single bit, so I'll keep it the same way what I like it now.
You'd be you?
Yep.
Nice. Do you?
Yes.
Awesome.
You do you.
Rachel, if New Zealand On Air, and I know you've just mentioned you've got a project potentially in the pipeline, but push that aside for a second. If New Zealand On Air offered you any amount of funding, is there another dream series you would like to reimagine or take over and create yourself? Or is there something out there now that you think I'd love to now take into this community?
There's so many things. I'm open to making anything that I think is going to meet an audience, find an audience and entertain an audience. I like all genres and have worked in all genres, so I currently have some drama series in development that I'm very keen on making. Have a feature film with another company that I'm really keen on making, so I'm making things with nice people that I like and making things that are worthwhile.
Yeah, and that seems a common theme for all your team is the people is so important on and off the camera.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How do you measure success at the end of this? Is it that it's purchase, is it their reactions, is it the parents?
I think audience reaction is always the fundamental for program makers like us. I mean, we know the guys have had an authentic and wonderful experience. We were there for it. We know the parents are really appreciative, but actually now it's about the work we do in terms of how we put this together and tell a story and tell their story and tell it as they actually experienced it. So once an audience sees it, that's what we look for.
Yeah, I guess that's the editing, isn't it? Honouring their story, but also creating good television. Yeah,
it's a juggle, but I think the big thing when you do these types of documentaries is social change. It's making people realise the capability of all our people and what they're able to do if given the time, the space, the energy and the opportunity to do so.
Absolutely. Rachel, how can people get in touch with you, follow you or Attitude to find out more or to track when it's on air?
We have a website called Attitude Live that they can always, information from Attitude comes out on Attitude Live and on social media through Attitude Live, and we do let people know, and you can watch all sorts of Attitude programs on Attitude Live, so go.
Jump on.
It's entertainment, it's their own platform, so...
Awesome. Jump on and check it out. Well, thank you so much for coming in today and bringing these guys in. I know sort of post-filming, that's a bit of a mission. Really appreciate it. It was lovely to see different parts of the experience, and congratulations. I think it's a great show. Can't wait for it to air. All the best to you guys. Look forward to hearing about your future flatting experiences. Thanks so much for tuning in today to Property Matters. You have a fabulous week. Next week, we're chatting with the CEO of Will & Able, a fabulous company giving those with neurodiverse challenges full-time employment and making some pretty awesome products along the way. Have a fabulous week. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever your favourite podcasts are. Chat to you soon.